All right, welcome back. Been thinking through some different process flows and how to use existing equipment that I already have, slightly modify it to create extra functionality without having to get a whole new setup of a bunch of stuff. So the idea that I had is using a bucket blaster. So this is the pump and the internals of a bucket blaster. I had to remove the frame and everything. This is 1/2 inch hosing that or piping that's on here, and well, cam locks, which are used quite a bit. I use cam locks all over my brewing space for my type of quick disconnect. These happen to be 1/2 inch as well. So with a few parts, a lot of it already had laying around or repurposing from other stuff. I'm going to be able to set up a 4-tap faucet cleaning system. So I'm going to be able to clean my kegerator lines and the faucets all in one go by just adapting the pump from the bucket blaster from Kegland. Obviously, there's a few things that are kind of unique to my setup. I did remove the 2 tap handles handles here just to make it easier for you guys to see what's going on here. But these are the inner taps, which was the predecessor to Nuka taps, and a lot of people know that they came with these little adapters, so you can actually use ball locks right off the faucets. So that is one caveat to this setup. However, my understanding is there are other faucets out there that have like a keg filler connectivity, where you can actually have a little nub that'll push up inside there, and you can have a piece of line. With that, you could pretty much do the same thing using those as little hoops. But since I have the inner taps, or even like I said, the Nuka taps, they do support these ball lock adapter pieces. We get these from Kegland, is the original manufacturer. And then, of course, here in the United States, we actually get them from More Beer. With that, we're going to be using 2 of these ball lock pass-throughs, so you can actually connect 2 ball locks together. Just as a quick example, we can hook this one into here and hook this one into here, and it makes one joint, right? So that's the other piece that we need to make all this happen. We're going to use 2 ball lock to ball lock hoops inside of here. I use these for my closed transfers from my unitanks to my kegs, so I already have these on hand. And sometimes I'm running a couple of kegs, or I'm running a couple of different batches in one shot, and so I have more than one configuration, because you never know if you're running back to back kegging. You want to have 2 loops so you can just get the kegging done, or in case something goes wrong. With that, I did mention that we're going to use some cam locks. So this is going to be referenced as a male cam lock with the male threads. That's going to end up threading into here. Then we have the female cam lock. Okay, we have a female cam lock with the female threads. That's actually going to go on the end of the shaft here. And then, of course, in order to turn this into a keg line cleaner, we actually need to use one of these cam lock plugs. I'll kind of show you a little bit here as we put this together. And obviously I have 4 taps, so I need an odd man out to come off. So I'm actually going to just use one of these little tees that comes from Kegland that you can put onto a soda bottle. And I'm just going to use this little piece of hose here to come right back out the system. So come along for this little build. I'll try to describe what I'm doing as I'm doing it, and I'm sorry about the poor angle, but I don't have the best space to set up for a studio, so I'm just kind of doing this as I can with what I got. So all that being said, let's just get started. So I'm going to take this shaft off the bucket blaster. This is normally what shoots up, whether or not you're using it for cleaning the Firmzillas or even your kegs. So this comes in handy. Oh, I should also mention that obviously we're dealing with plastic and metal. So we're not going to get too crazy, but I am going to use one crescent wrench and a little bit of PTFE or thread tape, but it's PTFE is the material. So with all of that, since we're doing metal to plastic, we are going to create just a little bit of a lubricating interface on here. So typically when you're doing metal on metal, it takes about 6 wraps of PTFE tape. I'm going to do 4. One. Oh, that's the end. Well, let me get right back to you and get some more. Hold on. Now that I'm back with some more PTFE tape, let's see where we're at. Let's get back to what we're doing. Like I was saying, usually takes about 6 rounds when you're doing metal on metal to get a good seal. This connection is going to be below waterline anyways, so it's not too crucial. I'm just trying to create a little bit of a slippery interface between the plastic and the metal to try and help not break a plastic piece. So we're going to go around 4 times. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, I've got that on there. I've got a little bit of coating on those threads. So let's just go ahead and get this in. Now I'm going to go finger tight, and then about quarter to half a turn should be plenty to seat this all the way. Quarter and a half. All right, that should be plenty stiff. Yeah, I can't even turn that back with my hand here, my bare hand, so that should be locked in for life. And of course, now we're going to go with the bottom end that we unscrewed from the bottom here. Put a little PTFE tape on here, and we're going ahead and use the female connector to get this into here. So let's do that. So we got 1, 2, 3, and 4. Like I said, not too worried about this one because it's going to be underwater anyways, so we're trying to just make sure there's enough force to be able to continue to do the bucket blasting or the Firmzilla blasting as we need. So go ahead and just turn that on. This is, once again, let's do like a quarter to a half a turn. And that one, an eighth of a turn, and it's already nice and snug. So obviously now, in order to turn this back into normal operations with these cam blocks, if you've never seen them before, there's a little bit of there is a seal down inside of here. I'm not sure you can see it, but there's a little bit of a seal that mates onto this flat part up here. Simple enough. Put these in, they lock in, we're off and running. Good to go. So now we're back to the normal operations, right? So we really haven't changed the functionality of this, not quite yet. Obviously, the other option is we can pop these down, take this off, and we can put the plug on. Once again, this plug also has a little seal down here in the bottom that we put onto here. And when we lock this in, now we've actually changed this to where it's going to redirect all the output from this pump to these 2 ball lock connections. This is the important piece in order to convert this into making into a Kegland cleaner. All right, well, now that we got this mess out of the way, let's just go ahead and move this out so we can get to modifying the faucets and get everything else connected. 1 second. All right, now everybody knows these seals, right? They're rubber. It helps if they're moistened a little bit. So we're just going to go ahead and dunk all these into water real quick. So 1 second. All right. Now that we've got these moistened in water a little bit, we're going to go ahead and take off these pour spouts. And obviously these, we're going to go ahead and throw these into a bucket of Star Sand and get that cleaned up and ready to go. So we'll set these off to the side. Now we're going to take these ball lock adapters, super easy. They screw right back in, just like those little faucet pieces that came off. Probably see it better on this one here. Just screw them in, finger tight. That's all we need. All right. Last one on here. Okay, now we got all that done. We are going to go ahead and hook up our hoses. So with this, we're just going to use these little jumpers, and we're going to go from one faucet to the next. And from one faucet to the next. All right, that takes care of everything up here on the top side. So let's take you down to down below, where we're going to take these ball lock jumpers, and we're going to start ingesting and exiting the system here. So let me put you into a different position, and we'll get back at it. All right, welcome back to the innards of my kegerator here. You probably noticed that this is a commercial style. This thing will fit up to 9 5-gallon kegs. Okay, so this has got a little bit of a quantity or capacity. Here's a pretty helpful tip. Most people already know about it. But when you have multiple tap systems and you're dealing down in the bottom with a bunch of kegs and switching things around, it's very important to color code these. It doesn't take anything fancy. This is just some colored masking tape that I'm using. And I have these in a color sequence where I go pink, yellow, and then green, and then tan. Okay, I use that when I'm using my faucets up above. And that's actually the color order going from left to right. So with that being said, the pink is my starting. So this one, we know that we want to join that from the pump. So we're going to go ahead and use the ball lock pass-through adapter. I'll go ahead and get that connected up real quick. Helps if I only have one of these in my hand at a time. So we put that together, and then pink we know is in my top left-hand faucet. Those two are now together and ready to go. So yellow is going to be my out for the next one. Okay. Oh, and make sure that you've depressurized these lines, because you know there's still maybe under pressure with a little bit of beer in them. So if you use these, since it's a pass-through, it'll squirt out and make a mess. Just be cautious of it. Okay, learn from other people sometimes, right? All right. So we will connect my yellow. You just saw there. Some just popped out on my floor. Most of the pressure was out, but you know, it's downhill. And green is the next one for my third tap, or my third faucet, and tan is going to be my output. And so with this one, we're going to use an adapter, because first, well, we need to create a recirculation loop, right? So like I said, we're just using that Kegland's ball lock T that can go on like a standard soda bottle for like a blow off, closed blow off in your fermentation chambers and such. Comes in very handy. As you can see here, I need an output, so we're going to go to this tan one, and we're going to go to the output. Well, like I was saying before, it helps if you moisten these a little bit, and then they slide right on. It's amazing. Okay, so since the first round, we're just going to push water through. We're going to flush the whole system, make sure everything's all flushed out. So we're just going to take this end, and we're just going to stick it into a spare bucket. Just off to the side of the camera, I have a bucket full of water that I have got going here to create the flush. So let me reorganize myself here real quick, and get a different position to show you better what's going on. All right, so as we got here, we got the pump running. It's coming out, going in the first one, coming on up. Taps here are my faucets. Faucets are all on. They're interconnected all the way across. Okay, and then we are coming down here into the bucket, and with that we have a full loop. Now you might say, well, that's not really coming out very fast. Well, that's okay. I mean, it takes time to flush the system, put cleaners through, give time for cleaners to do their thing. So obviously here we're just flushing this out. Looks like it's all clean water coming out. So now we're going to switch over to some PBW. We're going to put this on recirculation and be able to walk away, grab a beer, let it recirculate for a good, well, I don't know, 20 minutes. Should clean everything out nice and beautifully. Welcome back. After about 5 minutes, we were able to circulate about, or run through about 1 gallon of fresh water to purge the whole system, knock out anything that was easy and residual yeast or whatever in the lines, knocked all that out. We went ahead and emptied that bucket out for now. Now what we have in here is a recirculating solution of the PBW, liquid PBW from 5 Star Chemicals. Perfect use case for this scenario because, well, it's liquid, so it actually intermixes with the water without forming any crystals, and those crystals, you know, require a specific temperature to fully dissolve, and then you got to make sure it's fully dissolved before you start running it through pumps or any other small little valves and stuff like that. So with the liquid PBW, it dissolves in instantly, and it has a much lower operating range, as low as 50 degrees, which is perfect for this scenario where I'm going through and doing my keg line cleaning along with my faucet cleaning all at the same time. So you can see here I have the liquid PBW mixed in here, going through. You already saw the innards in there, and this is what a bottle of liquid PBW looks like, right from 5 Star Chemicals, which is also one of the sponsors of our BrewTubers online homebrew club. You should stop on by. A lot of great folks. We work through a lot of interesting ideas in problem solving. Here's one, like I said, where I'm reusing my bucket blaster and turning it into a keg line and faucet cleaning system, and using chemicals that are actually made right here in Colorado, same state that I live in. All right, well, we're going to leave this to circulate. You can kind of see the water moving there in the bucket, so it's getting some good movement, mixing in the bucket itself, and it's just created its own loop. And we're going to let this run for at least 10 minutes, no more than 20 minutes. And when it's time to flush and sanitize, we'll come back. All right, as we're coming back after the PBW was going through, now we've been pushing through some clean water to push all that out. It's been running for about 10 minutes and it's pushed quite a bit of clean water through. So now we get to decide which of these 5 Star Chemical products we want to use. Each has a rather interesting use case and scenarios for each one. Star Stan is most widely known, as folks keep saying, don't fear the foam, and all that fun stuff with home brewing. And then SaniClean is, quite honestly, is used with unit tanks and CIP systems. That was so you can actually do sanitization in place. It's a low foaming version of Star San. Takes a longer contact time, but effectively does very similar task, which is a no rinse sanitizer. I believe since, well, we're not doing anything that's creating a lot of foam, a lot of agitation and such, I think we're going to go with Star San. I need to make up some Star San anyways for some other stuff. You know, that was second have a standby spray bottle, because coming up here I've got to go check on the chocolate cherry porter. Is a kit that I got from our other sponsor, Beer and Wine Hobby, and so having some extra star sand on standby so I can go spray that down, do some samples, and all that fun stuff. I think we're gonna go with star sand. A lot less contact time in order to do its job effectively. SaniClean, like I said, does great in a CIP scenario, and where you can't really kind of get in there and get after things. It does take about 5 minutes of contact time, but like I said, they both do great. But today we're going to go with star sand. All right, well, this has now been running in circulation for about 20 minutes. Way plenty time for the star sand to get through the whole system, recirculate, clean everything up. And now that it's all ready to go and sanitize, now all we got to do is just unplug everything, put it all back together, and well, everything's sanitized. Everything, and I mean even my transfer hose is here for my kegs. They'll be ready to go for the next close transfer. Thanks for joining me along today. I'm not going to bore you with putting the nozzles back on and simply disconnect some ball locks, but thanks for coming along on the journey to see how we converted a bucket blaster over into being a Kegland cleaners and faucet cleaners. Well, until the next time, Prost.